Imagine walking into a room, you know, exactly the kind of room I'm talking
Oh,
about.
yeah, everybody knows that room.
Right. Like maybe it's a high-stakes job interview,
Yeah.
the kind you have been just agonizing over for weeks, and you can practically hear your own heartbeat.
Yeah, you're just sweating bullets.
Totally. Or maybe it's the very first day of a new English class where you don't know a single soul.
Or even like an international networking event. You're holding a coffee and everybody around you seems effortlessly relaxed, just chatting away.
Exactly. They're all so relaxed. But then it happens. All eyes turn to you, the room gets suddenly very quiet, and someone smiles and says those four terrifying words. Tell us about yourself.
Ugh, it is just the universal moment of panic. The air leaves your lungs and it feels like, I don't know, like the spotlight is burning a hole right through you.
It really does.
And it doesn't matter how prepared you think you are or how much vocabulary you've studied in the quiet of your own room. You just freeze.
You fall right into the black hole.
The black hole, exactly.
Because, like, you have the linguistic capability somewhere in your brain. You know how to speak English. But in that highly pressurized, specific moment, you just freeze. The mind goes completely blank.
Right, because the pressure of synthesizing your entire complex identity on the spot, it just short-circuits the brain.
You are staring into the abyss of this black hole, desperately searching for any recognizable word to pull yourself out.
Yeah.
And all you can manage is a stuttered hi.
Yeah, you stop thinking about who you actually are and start desperately scanning your mental dictionary for a grammatical lifeline.
Like survival mode.
Exactly. You revert to survival mode, just trying to string together the most basic nouns and verbs just to end the painful silence.
Which is exactly why our mission today is so critical for this deep dive.
It really is.
Because we are pulling apart the core strategies from this amazing Storywise guide. It's titled Mastering the Art of the Personal Introduction.
Such a good resource.
It's incredible. And we are going to figure out how to take English expressions out of that fragile, easily panicked rote memory space and move them deep into your natural spoken voice.
Yes, getting it into the natural voice is the whole key.
Right. So we're going to break down a concrete daily practice schedule, one that uses nothing but your smartphone to literally physically rewire how you speak.
I love that part of the guide.
And we're going to map out exactly which specific sentences best express your professional and personal identities so you never fall into that black hole again.
Well, the foundational philosophy we really have to understand first is that introducing yourself is not a data dump.
Right. It's not just a resume.
Exactly. Reciting a list of facts like, like your name, your age, your job title, it's just incredibly forgettable. A real introduction is an exercise in charisma.
Charisma. Okay. Let's unpack this.
Yeah.
Because that is a heavy, intimidating word for someone who is just trying to remember how to conjugate a verb.
Oh, totally. It sounds like you have to be a movie star.
Right. Like, how do I have charisma when I'm just trying to say what I studied in college without sweating?
Well, let's strip the intimidation out of it. We are really just talking about the difference between an A2 level speaker and a B1 level thinker.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Think of an A2 speaker as someone who is just trying to survive the interaction.
Just getting the words out.
Right. They rely on basic rehearsed phrases. They say, "My name is John, I am an engineer," and then they completely stop.
Cue the awkward silence.
Exactly. They provide the raw data, but there is no warmth. Moving to a B1 level means you are no longer just translating words in your head. You are actually expressing independent thought.
You're adding your personality.
Yes. You are showing the world who you are with clarity and confidence. It's the shift from merely occupying a chair in the room to actually owning your space in it.
So you aren't just reciting a biography, you are inviting people to know you.
Beautifully said. Yes.
But before we can practice speaking naturally with all this charisma, we have to know what we are actually going to say. Like, we need to build the script.
Which brings us to the concept of curating a wardrobe of your identity.
Yes, the wardrobe concept. And this is built out of 50 essential sentences, right?
50 sentences divided systematically into 5 distinct areas of your life.
Which are greetings and basics, education and work, family and origins, hobbies and interests, and finally, hopes and closing.
Right. Having this structured inventory is what prevents the brain from short-circuiting.
Now, I have to say, 50 sentences sounds like a massive amount of material to memorize.
Right.
It sounds like an entire theatrical monologue.
It does sound like a lot at first.
But the framework treats this not as a burden, but as ultimate freedom. I mean, I think of it less like a rigid script and more like a soundboard for a DJ.
Oh, I love that analogy.
Where, like, A DJ doesn't mix every single beat live while a massive crowd stares at them waiting to dance.
Hmm.
They have preloaded the exact perfect tracks that they already know work beautifully.
And when the moment comes, they just have to hit the right button at the right time.
Yeah.
That is the perfect way to visualize it. I mean, if someone at a party asks you, what do you do for fun? And you only have one single rigid sentence memorized to answer that question, the conversation hits a brick wall.
You say your one sentence and the interaction just dies.
Yep. But if your soundboard has 10 different sentences about your various hobbies, you have the flexibility to read the room.
You pick the one that fits the vibe.
Exactly, and you let that conversation grow organically.
So if these 50 sentences are our wardrobe or our soundboard, how do we actually tailor our outfits for different events? Which specific sentences best express our professional identity versus our personal identity?
Because you obviously wouldn't play a heavy club track at a relaxing lounge.
Huh. Exactly, to keep the DJ analogy going.
Well, the golden rule of the personal introduction is to intimately know your audience.
Right.
If you are building a professional identity, say you are walking into that high-stakes job interview, you purposefully ignore the casual stuff.
You're not going to talk about your favorite TV show.
Exactly. You reach into your wardrobe and pull heavily from Section 1 for your professional basics, Section 2 for your education and career, and Section 5 for your hopes and closing.
I really appreciate the specific examples the guide provides for that professional wardrobe. Instead of walking into an interview and just saying, "Hi, I'm ready," you open with something like, "First of all, I'd like to thank you for this opportunity."
Which is so much stronger.
Right. It instantly changes the power dynamic in the room. It sets a grounded, appreciative, and highly professional energy before you even discuss your resume.
It really does. You are establishing yourself as a peer rather than just a desperate applicant.
Yeah.
And when you do move into discussing your career, you don't just list your previous job titles chronologically. You elevate the conversation by deploying a vision statement.
Oh, the vision statement, like sentence 20 from the guide.
Yes. One of my professional goals is to make learning English easy for everyone.
Sharing a goal like that does so much heavy lifting. You aren't just telling a recruiter what you do from 9 to 5. You are revealing the why behind your work.
And when people understand your underlying motivations, it instantly earns their respect.
Totally. It elevates you from a standard candidate to a visionary thinker who actually cares about their impact.
It also allows you to strategically use grammar to tell a story.
Wait, really? How so?
Well, you use the present perfect and past simple to build a bridge between your past achievements and your current trajectory.
Oh, right.
So saying, I have managed teams for 5 years seamlessly connects to, my daily goal is to foster collaborative environments. It weaves your history into your future.
That is so smart.
Yeah.
But let's pivot to the other side of the coin. What if the audience is not a hiring manager with a clipboard?
Okay, setting the scene.
Right. What if I am at that international networking event or a dinner party with new friends? If I hit someone holding a glass of wine with a heavy vision statement about my career goals, they're going to slowly back away from me.
Oh, they would immediately alienate them. You'd be the weird guy at the party.
Exactly.
For social setting, you tailor the script entirely differently. You still pull from Section 1 for your basics so they know your name, but then you pivot directly to Section 3.
Which covers family and origins.
Exactly. And Section 4, hobbies and interests.
Because talking about your family instantly makes you human. It strips away the corporate veneer and builds a bridge of empathy and trust.
There's a profound psychological shift when we talk about our roots. Instead of just stating, I have a family, you utilize emotionally carrying sentences.
Right, giving it some weight.
Yeah, a phrase like, I live with my mother and she is my biggest inspiration, immediately tells the listener about your values and your heart.
Oh, I love that one. Or take sentence 30, right?
Mm.
Being around my family gives me the energy to work harder.
Yes.
I was struck by that specific sentence because it connects your family life to your work ethic like a closed circle. It shows that your life isn't compartmentalized into separate boxes.
Everything in a well-crafted introduction is connected to create a cohesive narrative of who you are.
And once you establish that human connection, you layer in your hobbies. Sharing what you do for fun is how you actively search for common ground.
And it demonstrates that you live a balanced life outside of your obligations.
The specificity of the hobby sentences is what makes them so effective, I think, because generic statements are just conversation killers.
Oh, for sure. Saying I like music gives the other person absolutely nothing to work with.
Nothing. But saying, I enjoy listening to lo-fi music while I'm working or studying, or I love watching movies, especially vintage comic book styles. Gives them multiple hooks.
Right. They can ask about lo-fi, they can ask about your study habits, or they can debate vintage comic books with you.
It's like you're giving them a menu of things to talk about.
Specificity acts as a conversational spark plug. It proves high social intelligence. You are demonstrating to the room that you understand context.
Right, like you recognize that you shouldn't talk about your university grades for 10 minutes at a wedding reception.
Exactly. And you shouldn't spend a corporate performance review talking extensively about your cat's sleeping habits.
Uh-huh. Please don't do that. So, okay, we have curated this beautifully tailored soundboard. We've selected the exact sentences that perfectly fit the social or professional environment.
Yep.
But honestly, none of that matters if you sound completely terrified, stiff, and robotic when you finally open your mouth to say them.
That is the big hurdle.
Having the sentences written down is only step one. Here's where it gets really interesting. How do we take that script and make it muscle memory?
Well, there is a highly structured method to beat that robotic delivery. It is an immersion technique called deep practice.
Deep practice.
Yes. You do not just read your 50 sentences once, nod your head, and hope for the best when the pressure is on.
Because we know how that ends, the black hole.
Exactly. You have to engage in a concrete daily schedule that forces the language into your physical body.
Let's break down that daily schedule because it is wonderfully specific. Step one is curation, right? You do not attempt to memorize all 50 sentences at once.
No, that would be overwhelming. You select 10 sentences out of the 50 that feel fundamentally true to your actual life.
Truth is the anchor here.
It really is. If you do not genuinely listen to lo-fi music, do not pick that sentence just because it sounds sophisticated.
Because your brain will reject it when you're under stress.
Exactly. Pick the 10 sentences that honestly reflect your lived reality because authenticity is easier to remember than fiction.
Okay, so step two takes those 10 true sentences and moves them into the physical world. You write them down by hand in a journal.
The physical act of writing creates your tangible personal introduction script.
Then, in step three, you read them out loud every single morning for 1 full week. The goal here isn't just memorization, right? It's about feeling the rhythm and the cadence of the words.
Yeah, experiencing how words like hello, pleasure, graduation, and hobbies physically feel in your mouth. You are training your articulatory muscles.
Wow. Okay, but step four is where the real transformation happens, and it is usually the step that makes people the most uncomfortable.
Oh, definitely. You take out your smartphone, open the voice memo app, and you record yourself speaking these 10 sentences out loud.
Which brings us to the final hurdle, step five. You take that audio recording of your own voice, and you listen to it while you're walking the dog, commuting on the train, or driving to work for 10 days straight.
It is a profound, inescapable immersion technique that forces you to confront your own English identity.
Okay, I have to stop us here because I am putting myself in the shoes of a listener who is about to try this.
Sure.
Let's talk about the cringe factor.
Oh, the cringe factor is real.
If I sit in my car on day one and hit play on a recording of my own voice speaking a second language, I'm going to absolutely hate it. We all hate the sound of our own recorded voices because it doesn't match the resonance in our heads.
It never does.
Right. What if my accent feels heavy? What if I hear myself hesitating? Or worse, what if I am terrified of cementing a grammatical mistake? Like, what if I recorded myself saying I am work instead of I am working? Hearing that mistake loop in my car for 10 days is going to destroy my confidence.
That visceral cringe you are describing is a universal human experience.
So it's not just me.
No, it's everyone. But it is also a necessary crucible. When we avoid listening to ourselves, we live in a state of denial about how we actually sound. Facing that recording strips away the illusion. And regarding the fear of making a small grammatical mistake, like I am work, we have to completely reframe how we view errors.
How so?
In the real world, outside of a standardized test, nobody cares about a drop suffix or a slightly misplaced preposition.
Right. People are listening for your meaning, not grading your syntax. If you're projecting a friendly, open energy, the listener's brain will automatically fill in the tiny grammatical gaps.
Exactly. They appreciate the effort you are making to connect with them across a language barrier. A mistake is simply proof of action.
I love that. Proof of action.
It proves you are stepping into the arena as a brave learner. Furthermore, you can use these curated, journaled sentences as a psychological shield.
A shield. Because you handpicked them from a reliable framework.
Exactly. You already know their structure is sound.
Yeah.
They act as armor against the black hole. You can trust the architecture of the sentences, which allows you to slowly begin trusting yourself.
So if I am in my car on day 2 and I am cringing at my delivery, the solution isn't to delete the file, give up, and turn on the radio.
Absolutely not. You treat it like a vocal coach would.
Okay.
If you listen and you sound flat, terrified, or unlike the vibrant person you want to project, you pull your phone back out. You try again.
You add a little more music to your voice.
Yes. You consciously change the pitch. You play with the delivery until the recording starts to sound like the person you know you are inside.
But what is the actual biological or psychological mechanism at play here? We have the script, and we have this intense 10-day auditory feedback loop in the car.
Right?
Why does listening to yourself on repeat magically transform these rigid words into a natural, authentic voice?
Well, what's fascinating here is that when you listen to your own recorded voice for 10 consecutive days, you are essentially hacking your brain's storage systems.
Hacking it.
Yeah. Repetition bypasses the active, panicked part of your brain that constantly tries to translate words from your native language into English. You are moving these phrases out of your fragile, short-term memory and burying them deep into your subconscious.
Oh, so your brain starts recognizing these English phrases the exact same way it recognizes the lyrics to your favorite song on the radio.
Exactly. You don't have to actively think about the next lyric.
Your mouth just automatically forms the words when the beat drops.
That is the perfect analogy. When you hit that 10-day mark of auditory repetition, a fundamental shift occurs. You stop thinking about the language as a mathematical puzzle of subject-verb agreement.
The words begin to just flow out of you like water.
Yes, this is the exact threshold of true B1 proficiency. It is the moment the language becomes an automatic reflex rather than a conscious effort.
And the beauty of achieving that automatic reflex is that it completely frees up your mental and physical bandwidth. If you aren't agonizing over which word comes next, you can actually look the interviewer in the eye. You can read the body language of the person at the party. You aren't just reciting a script anymore. You are actively performing your identity.
Because speaking a language naturally is a deeply physical act. Your body has to align with the words you are saying.
And the instructions for this are incredibly physical too. You cannot say, "It's a pleasure to meet you," while staring at your shoes with a flat expression.
No, it completely contradicts the message.
You must physically smile.
Yeah.
You must pull your shoulders back and stand tall when you announce, "I graduated from the Faculty of Arts."
You are literally instructed to speak with your entire physical confidence, not just with your vocal cords.
Right.
Your body language has to match the B1 level energy of the sentences. If the words are confident but the body is hiding, the audience feels that dissonance.
But when the physical performance aligns with the subconscious script, you command the room.
You really do.
Let's apply that commanding energy to the very end of the interaction. The final sentences in our soundboard, the hopes and closing section. Because how you end the introduction dictates what happens next.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, the way you close is the lingering impression you leave behind.
Right.
A common mistake learners make is surviving the introduction, saying their final fact, and then just abruptly stopping.
Which is so awkward. The silence is incredibly awkward.
Yeah, you have to learn how to close the door with grace.
And the framework provides these brilliant connector sentences to do exactly that. Instead of just stopping, you say something like, "I am looking forward to learning from all of you."
Or, "I am very excited to be a part of this group."
Those connector sentences are strategic gold mines. They instantly demonstrate humility.
They do. They signal to the room that you are open to their ideas and ready for collaboration. It completely shifts the dynamic of the room from you delivering a nervous monologue to you extending an invitation for a two-way relationship.
There is also a strong emphasis on proving that you are an active learner as you close, using sentences like, "I am currently trying to build better habits for my health and productivity."
Or, "I am always looking for new ways to be creative with my current projects."
It paints a picture of someone who isn't just passively letting life happen to them. It proves you are an active creator of your own destiny.
And when you finally cap it all off with sentence 50,
Oh yes, sentence 50.
"I am ready to start this new journey with all of you today," you hit what is known as the final note. It is a powerful projection to the entire room that you aren't just there to observe. You are ready for immediate action.
So what does this all mean? When we zoom out and look at this entire mechanism, the carefully curated wardrobe of 50 sentences, The physical journaling, the initial cringe of the recording, the 10 days of subconscious auditory programming.
It's a lot of work.
It is, but what is the ultimate takeaway? It seems to me that these 50 sentences aren't really about English grammar at all. They are a highly engineered psychological tool to overcome the paralyzing fear of the black hole.
Exactly.
They give you the structure to clearly prove to the world that you are a complex, three-dimensional human being.
An introduction is not an accident. It is a deliberately constructed system. It weaves together your polite greetings, the ambition of your work, the warmth of your family, the spark of your hobbies, and the drive of your dreams into one unbreakable, cohesive fabric.
The variety of the wardrobe gives you the tactical freedom to navigate absolutely any social or professional situation. But it is the deep practice,
Yes, the deep.
the uncomfortable, brave act of recording yourself and listening to your own voice until it becomes automatic, that gives you the unshakable confidence to actually speak when the room goes quiet.
This raises an important question, really. There is a specific motto that underscores this entire philosophy in the guide.
Which is,
Keep building and never stop learning. The system is laid out perfectly, but it demands action.
right.
It requires the bravery to actually press record on your phone, to confront your own voice, and to do the daily work. The question is, are you ready to engage in that specific kind of deep practice so that you can confidently walk into any room and show the world who you really are?
It is a profound challenge, but the reward on the other side of that 10-day practice is immense. You never have to fall into the silent panic of the black hole ever again.
Exactly.
So the next time you are walking into a room filled with strangers, whether you are gripping a portfolio for that high-stakes job interview, finding your desk in that new classroom, or holding a coffee at that international networking event, ask yourself,
Yeah.
if you could only choose 3 sentences from your life's customized wardrobe to introduce yourself, which 3 would you choose to completely change how they see you?
That's the real question.
Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. We'll see you next time.